This is The Sport, an open and honest conversation about life and love and everything in between with me, STL Yamumo. It's that time. Yes, right here on The Spot, I am STL Yamumo and today I have a creative. Mambo vipi?
Freshi sana kwaje?
Niko poa sana.
Hey, set yako leo inakaa tuko Christmas already.
Una feel? You can feel the mood, the Christmas
really
mood.
Yes, kabisa.
So he goes by the name of Modest. And before we even get to talk about who you are, nataka nikuuliza one question.
Yes.
And tell me the first answer that comes to mind. Mm-hmm. Do you promise to be honest?
Yes. Nothing but just the truth.
Okay.
Nambia.
Complete the statement.
Okay.
My first time?
In Nairobi.
Uh-huh.
I need to finish the whole statement.
Of course.
Okay. Then now, I thought like it's those things where you say, so you ask the question, so you say, my first time, I say Nairobi, and then you finish, you add another statement. Okay, correct. My first time in Nairobi, nilikuwa nakuja kwenda kuonyesha KICC. You know, now I grew up in Meru, so some of these things ulikuwa unazisomea kwa books. You're like, yes, we're going to Nairobi to see the Kenyatta International Conference Center.
Wow.
Yes,
that was your first time in Nairobi.
Yes. I don't remember how young I was, but I was a small boy.
Wow, interesting.
Yes.
All right. Welcome to this space, my space, The Sport.
Yes, thank you for having me, Manze. It's been a long time coming, STL.
Manze.
Can you avoid Sijui for 2 years?
2 years. Have I known you for 2 years?
Yes, you have.
It's been 2 years already.
Yes, it's been 2 years.
Wow.
I think, yeah.
Interesting.
But anyway, finally, we're here.
Okay.
I'm happy to be
and
here.
Talking about being here, we're recording at Kamunge Original Studio, and you already know the space is amazing, but what is even more amazing is that the crew, Manze, the crew is super duper amazing. You have to come through and work with the team here, because they'll give you exactly what you need. I mean, I feel like we're in a relationship of some sort. We found each other, and so far so
Love
good.
At first sight, and now we're here.
For
sure.
Modest is a creative, but who are you exactly?
No, I was taught that there's a difference between who you are
and what you do. Technical.
No, there's who you are
and what you are.
And there's what you do. Uh-huh. Most people, ukiuliza, so who are you? Watasema, my name is Modest, I'm a creative, blah, 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 blah. But who you are is who you are as a person. So who am I? I am a son to my parents. I have a sister. I am an ambivert. I learned that recently.
What is that?
I mean, it's like a mixture of an introvert and an extrovert.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. It's more like people who just always adapt to the situation. You get what I mean? Like you have a time when you just want to just be completely introverted. And then you have your times when you just want to explode.
Okay.
I'm a lover of music and life in general. I love basketball. I love riding horses. And I also love chapatis. Yeah.
Interesting.
For sure.
And what do you do?
So I consider myself a creative because I do so many things. One, I am a music producer. I'm also a singer, songwriter. I also do music for film. I play guitar. I'm a mix engineer. I'm forgetting some of this. I'm also a photographer. Those are the titles, the job titles that I go with. And a performer as well.
What are you not? What can't you do?
I cannot dance to save my life. I don't think I can participate in any activities that require me to coordinate different parts of my body. Like, for example, I can't play the drums. Like, you know, the way your left leg and your right leg's inafanya something totally different. I don't like things that complicate movements, rhythms, the normal rhythms of life. Mm-hmm. What else? But it's not really I can't do. It's just that I'm not interested in learning them per se because I feel it's a lot of work.
It's not. I'm trying to learn to dance. And I'm getting better. One of these fine days, I'll bust a move on the spot. You said the first time you came to Nairobi was you went to CKICC?
Yes.
So that means you grew up in...
Meru. Mimi ni Vaite.
Wewe ni kienyeji special.
Promax. Yeah, I was born in Meru. I was born in Meru. Then for a very brief period, my parents moved to Nairobi.
Okay.
Because my dad had just gotten drafted into the military. So alikuwa anahitaji kukaa huku at that time. Now my mother was pregnant with me. So tulikuja huku before I was born. Yes, that's a story. So wakastay huku for like 6-7 months. My mom was like, hey, there's no way this kid is being born in this Nairobi.
What?
So she had to move back to Meru. That's when I was born.
Okay.
And now nikaendelea na my life now in Meru. So occasionally, my mom will travel to Nairobi to like see the boyfriend. Pia my dad to also like see me. Nini. Yeah, quite an interesting experience.
How is growing up in the village like?
I mean, it was interesting because then I was around my grandmother at that time. She was a very strict grandmother. Ni ule alikuwa nasema once their grandchild akizaliwa, bring them. I want to raise them. You go and sort out your manenos. You continue your school, career, whatever it is. So I mostly now grew around that village at home, because in Meru usually say a boy is of the village. You're raised by the village. So occasionally unaamka unaenda kukula lunch kwa wenyewe huko, unapanda sijui miti za wapi huko, going to swim at the river. It was an interesting experience because at that time now we didn't even have things like TVs and cartoons and toys to play with. There was nothing that you could do in the house during the day and like now. So it was all about mnatoka nje, mnapatana na squad yenu, then mnaenda kufanya vituko zenu huko.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have like a particular memory that unaweza taka like when you have kids, they get to experience that same feeling growing up in the village?
I mean, I have so many. But I think the one that usually stands out is how my grandmother used to like really feed us food. Like she was big on the only way a kid can survive in this world, that kid needs to be always full 24/7. So when you wake up in the morning, hakuna ati sijui mikate, there was nothing like that. It wasn't a thing. It was seen as the rich people's thing or the white man's thing. So unamka asubuhi, unamkia makasava. A huge mug of uji.
Porridge.
Na ni ile uji ya mahindi, not sijui za msogam or whatever. And then another mug of milk.
Wow.
And this only one sitting. Failure tu, unatandikwa, unakula ukilia machozi. You have to finish. Then ukitoka hapo, anakufungia like in a small bag, anakuwekea like those sweet bananas, like anakuwekea like 10 of them. Anakuambia aenda, see you at lunchtime. So unaenda unazurura huko, whatever. Then lunch kirudi, na unapata kuna this traditional dish in Meru. It's mokimo, but like it's made different. Right? Imeko hadi like maize flour nini, so inatoka like a huge block of...
And the traditional name is?
I don't remember what it's called. I don't know. All I know it's a version of mokimo.
Okay.
Wacha hii yenye tumezoea sasa, hii yenye it's all soft sijui tumaindi. Nothing. Ili ilikuwa ngumu kama mawe. So umewekewa a whole mountain and like another huge... She was big also on milk. Lazima kunywa maziwa. She was like, yes, you need strong bones. Nini, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But there's one time, because again of venye nakushibisha, na pia ukienda kwa wenyewe, in Meru culture, when msaki kuoffer food, uwezi mwambia zi. It will be seen like ni kama unasema food yao ni mbaya, ama it's a curse.
Okay.
So unfortunately, lunchtime I was going home because now nimengangana nimecheza huko, so I'm hungry, so I need to go home so that I eat. Then now I met with an uncle of mine who then took me to his place, and then akanipea food, of course, nikakula. And then I still have to go to my grandma to eat because you can't miss. Nikafika pale, then unapata that same food. So I was struggling to eat. So what I did, nilichukua ile food nikatupa. Right? So aliniwekea food and then she left. So nimebaki pale, nimejaribu kukula nasikia nimeshiba mwanze. So I saw yuko, so nikachukua nikaitupa like kwa moto. Right? Then sasa nikaendelea tu kunywa maziwa because that's a bit easy.
Alafu unajua ile akili ndogo tu ya mtu like umetupa.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is very smart. So she walks in, she's like, oh, umeanza kukula kwani ulikuwa na njaa that much? I'm like, yeah, but I'm good. And then now for some reason your food like when ilikuwa pale like moto ikaanza tu kushika, so anapigwa na harufu fulani ako like, hey, what is this? My friend, I ran out because yeye alikuwa anashika tu hivi slippers. And then now she was
mlikuwa mnachapwa na slippers.
Yes, she was nimble so she could run. So I remember I stormed out of the house and I ran away. My friend, she was behind me. Properly behind me. So I had to like go and hide like kwa, you see the banana plantations where zinapanga like 5 of them in one. So nikajificha tu hapo. Anapita hivi ako like, huyu kijana huyu nikimpata. So I had to go run. Nilikimbia hadi kwa mama yangu nikamwambia what happened. Now at least now she came and she was so pissed. But, a lot of memories for sure.
And how growing up in the village with your mom, how's your relationship with her and your dad as well? How is that?
Well, I have very good relationships with both my parents. Wamekuwa supportive all the way since I was a kid. I'm a bit closer to my mother because mostly when I was growing up at that time, now my dad ndiye alikuwa job proper. So he wasn't really sana home.
And also to mention that military.
Yeah, so alikuwa naenda for like 3, 4, 5 months.
Yeah.
Akikuja na kuja siku 3, 4. So you're always just around your mom most of the time.
Okay.
Until like now when alipanda the ranks enough that now he doesn't go away. But at that time now nilikuwa nishaingia high school. But we've been working on our relationship till now, and I can proudly say it's really cool, man.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah. So let's fast forward to your first time in Nairobi.
Yes.
So village boy, nini.
Yeah.
Nairobi, unafika, culture shock. What was the most shocking thing ulifika Nairobi? Uko like, what is going on here?
It's the tall buildings. I was like, what is this? Like, now back at home, most of the houses just bungalows. There's no artistry first floor, second floor. So naingia huko first, and then now naona pia
yani kwenyu kuna bungalows. I thought Ushago back in the day was like
mad
houses. Kwenyu ni bungalows, sawa.
Tulikuwa na zile nyumba za mbao. But like kwanza kukuja unaona like paved streets. Zimekwa sijui lami mnatembelea huko because not so Meru ni like rough roads 24/7. And then like the tall buildings. Mimi nilikuwa naangalia hivi na zuba. Nashindwa like sasa hii building imeshikiliwa na nini huko juu, like it was just fascinating. Plus like now also the matatus, like back then the buses, you know, because now in Meru the mode of transport zilikuwa zile Land Rovers, face you face me.
Okay.
So kuona sijui mabasi ilikuwa like a privilege, like wow, such a long thing. So for me it was just fascinating to see like there's more than just what I know from Meru, you know. And that was also the first time like sasa pia nili experience vitu kama chipo, which at that time ilikuwa like, what, these are potatoes? I wasn't even believing it.
Goodness.
Yeah, mimi sasa kienyeji promo. Sasa mkinana na shine hivi mjue nimetoka afaa, nimetoka mbali.
Wow. Yeah. Modest Chabari,
yes.
Right here on the spot. Remember to subscribe. Also, comment below. Now, you are here for your high school, or
yes?
And how did that inspire you to get into music?
Well, all the way from primary school, I was interested in music. I always looked forward to kwenda Sunday services because it's always kutakuwa na msana anacheza keys and drums and bass, blah 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 blah. And I always had an interest of learning, but I was very shy, very 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 shy.
Was it that you were shy, ama the village in you just?
You know, if for anyone really who's like been grown up and raised you up in that setup, you know that ile notion ya ukienda kwa watu, maintain, do not usisumbuane, usikuwe so inquisitive, blah, blah,
alafu unajua venye watu wa Nairobi wana kierere mob.
Yeah. So I didn't have that. So I never really got the courage to like go and tell someone, yo, I want to learn this, blah, blah, blah. Because then ningejikumbusha, we, uko kwa wenyewe, usiende kupiga kelele, usiende kusumbuana. I remember actually in primary school, there was this, one of the teachers alikuwa anacheza that keyboard. And then one day I called like, whoever is going to score the highest in his subject, alikuwa nafunza social studies. Yes, I'll not forget social studies. I will teach you how to play this thing.
Wow.
My friend, nilisoma. Nikasoma. But then there was this one guy, I'll never forget him. He was always in competition with me. I don't know why. So, akiniona nimeenda ku take like extra lessons, pia anaenda. Right? So when the results came, this jamaa alikuwa amenipita na 1 mark.
1 mark? You're kidding?
Mark. Yes, of course. Yeye anaenda kufunzwa. So he went for the first lesson and then he was like, mi atastaki hiyo kitu tena. I'm just bored. I was so pissed. I was like, bro, mi nilikuwa nataka hii kitu. Na sasa umekuja tu kuniharibia tu. Ma spoilers. Yeah. But anyway, now moving to high school, the first time I reported to high school, ilikuwa hapa My Forces Academy. I remember kulikuwa na huge hall. So tukiingia, the first thing I see is like a black thing. Let me refer it like a black thing, right? So I remember nime stare. Then one of the students, when walikuwa hapo wakakuja, niko naanza kucheza. That's when it hit me. Oh, this is a piano.
Yeah.
Nimezoea tu kuiona tu kwa movie tu.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So I remember asking my dad, what do I need to do to learn how to play that thing? Yeah, akasema tu casually like, you just need to take music and learn a bit of music. I was like, okay.
Here we go.
Noted. Nakumbuka when now ulikuwa unapewa form, unajaza like that optional part of subjects. Pale kuna sijui drawing and design, art and design, blah, 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 home science. The first thing I looked for was like, music? Let's start there, now we can think about every other thing. And my first lesson ilikuwa so wholesome for me. Because that first lesson, and I'll never forget it, when your mwalimu aliingia, alisema, good morning, future stars.
Wow.
I'll never forget it.
Wow.
I will never, I forget the name of that man. But anyway, yes, from there now, nikaanza kuwa na a lot of interest in necessarily playing the piano. So there's this mjamaa alikuwa anaitwa Chris, I'll never forget him, alikuwa Chris super producer. So I used
even back in high school?
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Watu wamelelewa Nairobi. So wao wanaelewa hii mambo. Kwanza nilikuwa na accent. Proper.
You don't say. Ulikuwa na accent. Na venye.
Sasa nimesafisha rada. Bado ukisikiza vizuri nilikuwa na accent mbaya. Ushamba. Hivi.
Ulikamka umebeba kwa chondo.
Hivi. So I used to stare at that guy. No, I usually have a photographic memory. So I used to stare at break times, anaenda ndiye alikuwa anaenda anacheza vitu zake. So I used to go and stare, naangalia nini amefanya. Then usiku, when sasa kila mtu ametulia, mimi niko pale najaribu kucopy what he was doing. That is how I initially now started now learning the piano before I was officially now taught, because nilikuwa classically trained when I was in Form 3.
When you say classically trained, and you also refer yourself as a classical pianist.
Yeah.
What does that mean? It's the same thing.
Basically, being classically trained, it means that you've been taught how to perform classical music. That's basically, okay. Whether you're singing, whether you're playing any instrument, whatever it is. So I was classically trained in Form 3. But Form 1 and Form 2, I was just learning my own mutudo tu. Nashikanisha tu vitu zangu hapo, they kind of make sense.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's how.
Now, that class, began. Your class, your music.
Yeah.
Are there any people who have made it in music this far?
A lot of my peers. Ule mwenye sai tuko in tandem with is Enoch Wambua.
You guys were in the same class?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, Enoch was a year behind me.
Okay.
So when I was in Form 2 now, that's when he joined Form 1. Actually, Enoch Sunday pia alinchanua zaidi. Unajua saa Enoch before ingie high school yeye alikuwa rapper. Alikuwa wa streets.
You're for real?
Yeah,
Alikuwa
na
rapper?
roll na crew.
Wow.
You know, mimi sasa manze hapo kijana Meru hata shiki anything. Ajui hata radio zinawashiwa wapi and things like those. So Enoch is the one who really alianza saa kushape mentality yangu kunionyesha msee anaweza kuwa msanii by the way. You know, so I used to now play piano for kina Enoch to sing, for other guys to perform. At that time mimi sijajua naweza imba by the way. I'm just over there just playing piano and just getting fascinated with the whole idea of writing songs and coming up with all these nice melodies and then also performing and seeing like people are enjoying it, you know. Ilikuwa so surreal because then again in that same high school tulishikana a couple of friends when now we formed an a cappella group that was called Papa. I think 7, so we used to sing a cappellas. And at that time, that's when now I figured out that okay, niko na sauti, naweza fanya kitu, naweza imba.
Yani kila mtu, yani every person has a journey of how they started out. Yeah. So you guys mko Papa, you're 7 men. How many 7 boys?
At that time we're boys.
Doing a cappella.
Ilianza kama joke actually. So in school tulikuwa na like inter-house music festivals. So basically ni music fest but
inter-house,
internal. So kulikuwa na out of the 7 guys, 4 of them were in the same house. So kulikuwa na this section ya zilizopendwa where like people have to showcase whatever they can do. And I remember wase walienda wakaimba wakiwa wote 4. And they sang this famous song ile Baba ni pepesa.
You don't sing like that. You do the actual thing and show us how you used to do a cappella.
See story nakupigia.
Okay.
So they sang that song. Right? And I was like, wow. Ikisho sound poa imekwa harmonies. Nini they are doing this moves over here. So after the thing, we were like, you know what? I want to join you guys. Mimi nitakuwa nacheza piano and arrange also the music so that then we can perform. So after that inter-house music fest kulikuwa na the first funky ilikuja shule. So then one of the teachers alikuwa like, wale vijana waliimba ile wimbo simkuje mperform on this thing. My friend, that is the first time nimesikia nimepigiwa nduru hivyo na wasichana. Tuliimba hapo na kwambia ilikuwa crazy. How mademo will go crazy. It was so weird. Because then you tu mandume tu.
Yeah.
Right? And you always just performing to dudes and then all you do is just rap to them and then they're just like, yeah. Buda kitu liko poa.
Buda umeweza.
But then imagine umeenda umeimbia ilikuwa like hall ilikuwa inaja like 1,000 people. So imagine umeimbia watu 1,000 and madem tu na umepiga tu nduru yani. It's a real moment.
Sasa wacha to revisit your moment. Tuimbe a cappella kiasi.
Of what now? What do you just want to sing?
Hata hiyo bwana nipe pesa.
I hope I want to butcher those lyrics.
Bwana
nipe pesa, watoto wana njaa, sababu mke wangu anapenda kutangatanga. Hata majirani wamechoka kumuona. Usema fungani milango anakuja.
After that sasa confidence iko up
over the roof.
Wewe na funkies, wewe na magaldem.
Man, it was the best. Now at that time tulikuwa form 2.
Form 2. Yeah.
So every funky tulikuwa tunaitwa.
Okay.
Every weekend mimi sikuanga shule. Na hata si ati ni because other students want you to go, ni walimu wako like, where are those boys from Papa? We need you guys to accompany us. So every time opening ceremony lazima tunge perform.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Tulikuwa ndazima math contest. Sijui hizo vitu hata hatuendi hata ku attend. Si tunaenda tu tuimbe pale, tukishaimba kazi yetu ni kwenda kati ya wasichana sasa until the gig ends.
What are some of the memories you have za funky na kukatia madem, the crazy things you did?
Ziko mob, all the way from, I think the craziest one, the one to date, ni even sijuange, okay, nitaisema tu because it's past. Tulienda music fest, finals in Nakuru. Sasa unajua where the events were happening and why we were sleeping, like lazima mngetoka nyote pamoja mpande bus then mwende to the
main,
mnalala. So this particular time we happened to perform very early in the morning. Then during the day sasa ni kuzurura tu na kutafuta na wasichana nini blah 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 blah. At that time manze mimi nilikuwa in love na status girls. Wasichana status walikuwa wamenimaliza.
Okay.
Finish. So mimi nikaenda nikatafuta penye wamejificha kwa kachuo. I spent the whole day there until like imefika like 8:30.
Usinembuli achona basi.
Niliachwa. But like ifika around 8:30 niko like I need to go look for my friends. Nikitoka hivi napata na watu wako mbio hivi wanafuata bus.
That used to happen a lot.
Yeah. But then this story gets worse. Because your bus, watu walikuwa wamedecide inarudi Nairobi that night. Watu waende walale shule, right? So that now they leave now kwenda home. So hiyo inamaanisha nikiachwa na hiyo bus, ningefigure out a way to kutoka Nakuru all the way to Nairobi.
Yeah.
Na sasa niko kijana high school. So I remember running to the bus, my friend. Sema kuingia kwa sewage. Mguu mzima, pap, sewage. No. But then nilitoka tu nakimbia tu hivi tu bado the bus luckily waited. Tukaingia tu kwa bus. So now tuko like, ni nani wananuka sijui aje hapa. Sasa manzo najaribu hadi kutoa viatu azizi juu. Afadhali hata ikiwa on because now
it's yeah.
So I was going to my cousin's place. Imagine. So mimi the following day umeamka tu hivi. Sasa unajua uko umebeba change of clothes. Jua high school tu unajibebea kashat kamoja tu, trouser ni ile viatu ni zile.
Socks ni zile.
Shirt tu ndio una change. So nakumbuka nilifika home, then my cousin anakuja kunisalimia kwa like, bro, what is going on with you?
Star mzima.
Sasa yeye ananiangalia anacheka kwa. Hadi akuwa na picha alikuwa like, bro. Nini mbaya? I'll never forget that time. It was crazy.
And punishments.
Oh, man. Have I not gotten those ones? There was one time where, okay, tuliekelewa tu, but it's whatever. So, Moi Forces Academy had a primary school next. So, kulikuwa na watu wadogo wa Raima, I think walikuwa class 8, who are also interested in music.
Okay.
Right? And then unajua sasa watu wa high school kukatia watoto wa primary, it was, people used to do it.
Yeah, it's still happening.
Yeah. So the problem was, on this particular night, kulikuwa na some students, high schoolers, walikuwa wameinvite watu wa Raima wakuja ati kusikiza music. Right? So wakaenda music room. So the only person who had the keys to the music room is me.
Yeah.
But then mimi nilikuwa nimezipoteza. Which at that time ni msali alikuwa amezichukua, akaenda saa kufungua music room, wakapatikana huko. So everyone else managed to escape apart from one chick.
Okay.
From Raima. And then now, when the deputy alikuja, ako like, Modest, where are you? Come here. What are you doing with small girls? I'm like, sir, mi hata sijui ya watu manze. But then now, unaambia wendi ulikuwa na key.
Yeah.
It's assigned to you. So it has to be you. Hey, tulichapa viboko zingine hapo. Then later is when I learned a few friends of mine who did some shady things.
Mlichapa viboko?
Bunsen burner.
Ulichapwa na Bunsen burner, the pipe?
Yes, that orange one. My friend, nilikuwa ni kama niko na rumble strips kwa haga. Ndio unachapa zinatokea hivi.
Kwa mjanjes, like people used to put up what are they called, exercise books.
Here's the thing, mwalimu, this deputy was, I think we alikuwa too psychotic. Alikuwa anaguza haga hivi.
No way.
Bro alikuwa anaguza. A confirm surface area iko soft enough. Iko
sawa and ready for the whips.
Akisikia umevaa vitu mzito anakungea hapa just above the waist. You know where the belt is? Just above. either above the waist ama like hapa kwa thighs, hapa chini, hapa kwa hamstring, hapo.
Do you think corporal punishment back then ilikuwa effective?
No. It just made people hardcore in a bad way. And
instilled a lot of fear.
Yeah, fear and don't care. Because then people would make mistakes and be like, I know I'll be beaten about it, but sinishafanya. So I amesha preempt the consequence. Ako like, I'm okay with it, but I'll still do it. You get? Which for me doesn't work. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, so at what point did you like realize now, I want to do music professionally and I want this to be my bread and butter?
Hey, there's a lot of things that happened, but still with this group, Papa, I remember we were approached by Giuliani before Toyota Kinazinitangoji. What is that album? Is it? I don't know if it's some mentality or something. Before Giuliani was Giuliani.
Ini mwaka gani?
2011? 2011 when I was.
I think by that time Giuliani was still a big deal. Yeah.
He was coming up. He was doing high school tours.
Okay.
Ndio alikuwa ametoa hizo pages of Bible, nini, crisis, ndio alikuwa amezitoa.
Okay.
So alikuwa anapiga high school tours. So when he came to MFA, of course we, as always, curtain raisers, lazima tupige pale a cappella, madem.
Yeah.
So Giuliani noticed us. Ako like, mwanzenyu wasino noma, man. Mkimaliza tu hivi shule, kujeni. I want us to work on an album together.
Wow, an album. Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Giuliani's second album was supposed to be there.
Okay.
But now that story takes a different turn.
Talk to us about that story.
Before you even go to Giuliani, at the same time, Citizen TV Kubamba, when that show was starting out, pia walikuwa reach out.
Ila kina K-Crew.
Yes, wako like, guys, tunataka mkujange show Sunday, mnatuperformia, si tuta provide transport and like something ya kufunika macho. Lakini shuleni nani? School refused.
Kamati ya roho mbaya, but ni sawa.
Yeah. The Giuliani thing now, it happened at the beginning, when I was in Form 4 actually, at the beginning of, this is 2012. So the only way we could work with him was after KCSE. Because now, you have to concentrate with school, blah, blah, all those things. But then, unfortunately, after I finished high school, my dad alikuwa amepostiwa a job na Nyuki. So he couldn't stay in Nairobi. My mom already yako purely in Meru. So I remember now we're having that conversation with my dad and he's like, I can't leave you here. You can't stay by yourself. But then now there's this opportunity of working with Giuliani, and the condition is I have to stay here by myself. And I remember it was such a conflict that I had to just give it up and like now go to Meru. And I think at that time I was done with music.
Wait, what happened to the rest of the guys in Papa?
By the time to maliza high school, some of them now, they saw this music thing as ilikuwa tu for fun.
So no one actually took up the opportunity to work with Giuliani?
No, because tulibaki, I think, four people. Tulibaki Mimi, Enoch, some other guy called Victor. Who was the other person? I forget that person. Anto. So tulikuwa tumebaki hao sisi wanne. But then sasa mimi ndio peke yake nilikuwa naweza kucheza any instrument. So mimi ndio nilikuwa na arrangement ya all the songs, mimi ndio nilikuwa na lyrics za all the songs, blah blah blah. So me not being there, this thing can't work.
Wow.
Now here I am, nimeshaambia mandugu, manze mzaya ameringa. Collect ni either ukuje Meru ama ukae Nairobi ujisort. Now I couldn't. I don't know Nairobi that well, so I had to go to Meru and try and, as I was waiting for KCSE results, and hopefully now come back in campus now to, like do music properly.
So, have you ever met Giuliani and revisited this conversation?
I mean, yes, I have, but I've never revisited it because I feel vibaya about it, honestly. I felt really bad. that I could have started this thing way early when I was 17. You know, I was, at that time, the music industry was very receptive to new people. It was still at the same time when now also like Sauti Sol was becoming Sauti Sol. It was the same time when kina Nameless pia ndio walikuwa wameanza kufade out. So there was so much room for new people to come in. And we had this opportunity to like start off with Julian. Imagine the first song you're doing with Julian.
Imagine.
Back when now also the gospel industry was proper.
Yeah.
Kina Emoji, Chris Aero, all those people. That's when now it was ilikuwa inashika poa. So I really felt bad that I couldn't be able to start at that particular point.
Okay, Ukenda, you went to Shags and then
I gave up on music still.
you completely gave
I was
up
like,
on
I'm
music.
done. Like, why now, first of all, you don't have a place to practice this thing anymore. Right?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go play at church because then the music they were doing was, you know what? It was boring. That music was boring. I was trying to be nice. But it was
You're
boring.
trying to be modest.
Yeah, it was boring.
Yeah.
So I remember my dad was like, "Siwende ukacheze piano huko church." I'm like, now, nenda kuchezea nani? You know, they sing the same songs day in, day out. No arrangement, no nothing. It's just someone singing as loudly as they can and speaking in tongues and occasionally going off key, and it was too much. So I was like, you know what, I'm done. I don't care about this thing anymore. Ikwende kabisa.
Hiya. So before we wrap up part 1, I want to be doing this with my guest to give them an opportunity to actually ask me a question, a random question. Please don't make it too technical.
No,
So,
I think I have the perfect one.
all right, let's hear it.
If you were to relive any day of your life that has passed already, what day would it be and what happened?
Wow, it has to be one particular day.
Not really, or a moment, really. Could be a moment or a day.
I would say the moments I spent with my grandmother.
Wow.
Those were just awesome.
Perfect, yeah.
My grandma was... Let me tell you a funny story. So I was in campus,
Yeah.
The entire time I was in high school campus. So my grandma used to give me pocket money. Alafu sasa unajua, asemi ni pocket money or anything. Anasema, I'm giving you, so this is in mother tongue. Anasema, ananita shosho. So anasema, shosho, this is sweetie.
Oh, like, yeah, they used to do that a lot.
They do that. So imagine my entire high school, my entire campus, me used to get pocket money from my grandmother. Yani,
that's really cool.
Yeah. Alafu bado ananipakia the fruits.
The fruits,
Yeah.
Oh,
I felt so special.
Really cool. Okay. That's good. I understand.
Yeah. All right. So we take a break. We come back with part 2. Part 2, we talk about I missed out on an opportunity, but more opportunities came your way.
Yeah, for sure.
Taking risks and love and insecurities. Yeah, and so much more. So keep it right here on the spot. I am STL Yamumo, and yes, we're kissing and saying goodbye for part 1. We're back with part 2 with a man, Modest, Chabari. Yeah, and right here at Kamunge Original Studio. See you in a few.